Hello, starfish and seahorses. Now, you might have spotted something a bit special about your story today, because not only are you going to get to hear me read your story to you, you're going to get to see my face while you do it. Lucky you. Now then, the only thing that could make it more perfect for me would be if I could see all of your faces too. But for now, until we can all be back together again, I'm just going to have to imagine you all sat beautifully on the carpet and listening to me read your story, just like you would do if we were in school. Right then, our story this week is going to be The Princess and the Wizard. Now, can you remember at the end of The Snail and the Whale last week, I gave you some clues for our new topic? And this here is another clue. Does anyone know what these buildings are called? Well done, it's a castle. And our new topic for the next couple of weeks is going to be all about crazy castles. We're going to think about the people that live in them, like princesses and wizards. We're going to think about how they were made, what they were made for, what people do in them, all sorts of things to do with crazy castles over the next couple of weeks. So this is the perfect story for us to start with. Okay, now, here we've got our princess. Do you think she looks like a happy princess? I'm not so sure. And then here, this is the wizard in our story. Now we know that wizards do magic, don't we? Have a little look at him. Do you think this wizard is going to do good things with his magic? Or do you think he might behave in a different way? I wonder. And in our story last week, The Snail and the Whale, they were such good friends, those two, weren't they? They were the best of friends. Do you think the princess and the wizard are going to be best friends too? Or do you think something different might happen between these two this week? Are you ready to find out? Let's start our story then and see what happens in The Princess and the Wizard. Hello. I'm down in the corner now so that you can get a really good view of all the lovely pictures in our story too. Right, let's get started. It was Princess Eliza's birthday. She was just blowing out the 7 candles on her cake when a wicked wizard flew down the chimney and into the room. "Why didn't you invite me to your party?" he thundered. "Because wicked wizards like turning people to stone," replied Princess Eliza. "So they do," said the wizard, and with a flick of his bony fingers he turned the king, the queen, and the party guests all into stone. Then he laughed a horrible laugh and said to Princess Eliza, "They like capturing princesses too." Now, who's this that's arrived? Look in the picture. Just then, there was a whirring of wings, and in through the window flew Princess Eliza's fairy godmother. She was late for the party. When she saw what had happened, she waved her wand and said, "The princess may try 7 times to escape by changing her colour and changing her shape." The wizard just laughed his horrible laugh and said, "Changing her colour and changing her shape will never help Princess Eliza escape." Then he snapped his bony fingers and turned the fairy godmother to stone too. Gosh, what do you think's going to happen next? The wizard whisked the princess up the chimney and carried her away to his tall, dark castle. He locked her into the cellar where she cried herself to sleep. The next day was Monday. The wizard unlocked the cellar door. He was holding a big red book which contained all of his magic. "This is your first chance to escape," he said. "I shall count to 100 and then I shall come and find you." He opened his book, closed his eyes and began to count. A bit like a game of hide and seek. Princess Eliza ran outside. The moat of the castle shone blue under the blue sky. She jumped into the water and turned herself into a blue fish. and she's that nice, beautiful, sparkly blue fish. Look down in the water. 98, 99, 100. The wizard opened his eyes, looked in his magic book and read, "To find where Eliza is hiding from you, look in the moat for the fish that is blue." He fished Eliza out of the moat and took her to his kitchen, which was full of blue plates and pots and pans. They were all covered in dried up food. "So you like blue, do you?" he said. "Then set to work and wash." And he locked her in. Oh, poor Eliza. On Tuesday morning, the wizard unlocked the kitchen door. He looked at the clean plates and pots and pans and he grunted. "Chance number 2, he said. Then he opened his book, closed his eyes, and began to count. Princess Eliza ran into the farmyard. She turned herself into a yellow chick and hid in some straw. But the wizard read his book. "The straw in the farmyard is yellow and thick. Princess Eliza's disguised as a chick." Oh no, he found her, and can you see what's he going to make her do this time? He scooped Eliza up and took her to a cupboard which was full of yellow socks. They all had holes in them, made by his pointy toenails. Ugh! "So you like yellow, do you?" he said. "Then set to work and darn." And he locked her in. On Wednesday morning, the wizard unlocked the cupboard door, looked at the darn socks, and grunted. "Chance number 3, he said, and he opened his book, closed his eyes, and began to count. Or can anyone have a look at the picture and see what did Eliza try and do this time to escape? Princess Eliza ran to the meadow. She changed herself into a green grasshopper and hid among the grass blades. But the wizard, what did he do? He read his book. "The grasshopper princess is easily seen, chirping away in the meadow so green." He caught Eliza in a net and took her to his green bathroom. The bath basin walls and floor were covered in the wizard's slimy toothpaste. "So you like green, do you?" he said. "Then get to work and wipe." And he locked her in. Poor Eliza. 3 more days went by. Each day the princess tried to escape. Now we've had Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday so far, so what day is coming next? Well done! On Thursday she turned herself into an orange fox and hid in a pile of orange leaves. On Friday she turned herself into a purple butterfly and fluttered among some purple flowers. On Saturday she turned herself into a black cat and hid in a black tunnel. Gosh, she's very hard to spot in there. But what do you think the wizard did every single time? Yeah, well done. Each time the wizard found her and gave her yet more work to do. Now, can you remember the fairy godmother said she was going to have 7 goes at escaping? So far we've had Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday and Saturday. So how many goes has she got left? She's only got 1 go to go. What day is coming up next? Well done. Next is Sunday. What do you think she's going to do on Sunday? Do you think she's going to get caught again? Or do you think this is going to be the time that she escapes? Let's find out. On Sunday morning, the wizard came to the roof where Eliza had been scrubbing the sooty chimney pots. Instead of grunting, he laughed his horrible laugh. "This is your last chance," he said. "If I catch you this time, you must stay and work for me for the rest of your life." Then he opened his book, closed his eyes, and began to count. Oh, what do you think she's going to do? Princess Eliza turned herself into a white gull and flew up into a cloud. But as she hovered above the roof where the wizard was still counting, she saw words forming on the page in his open book. "So that's how he finds me!" she cried. "I shall never escape." Then she had an idea. What do you think she's going to do? She turned herself into a page of the wizard's book. A perfectly blank white page with no writing on it. Oh, why do you think she did that? 98, 99, 100. The wizard finished counting and began to read his book. The princess turned into a bird in the sky. She hid in a cloud, then had one more try. The wizard was at the end of the page. The wizard turned over to read more, but there was no more. The next page in his book was blank and white. He flew into a rage. "You stupid book!" he shouted, and he hurled it into the moat. The book landed with a splash and sank to the bottom, and the wizard's magic was gone. Why was there a blank page in the book? Look what's happened. At that moment in the palace, the king and queen and all the party guests came back to life. Why do you think they came back to life? What happened? "Where is Princess Eliza?" they asked each other. Nobody knew except the fairy godmother, and she only smiled and said nothing. Why do you think she's not saying anything? Princess Eliza had turned herself from a white page into a blue fish and was swimming to the edge of the moat. She turned herself into a yellow chick and ran across the corn in the farmyard. Can you remember what she was when she was green? She turned herself into a green grasshopper and hopped over the grass. She turned herself into an orange fox and raced through the orange leaves. She turned herself into a purple butterfly and fluttered over the purple flowers. And what was the last one? She turned herself into a black cat and streaked through the black tunnel. Then she turned herself into a white bird and flew. Where did she fly? All the way back to the palace and in through the window. She perched on a chair at the tea table and changed herself back into a princess. The king and queen and all the party guests hugged her. Then Princess Eliza cut her birthday cake and everyone had a slice. Right then, starfish and seahorses, I hope you enjoyed this sweet story. I enjoyed reading that one. That was a good one. It makes me very excited for our new topic as well. Now, before I go, a little bit of exciting information for you. In the next few days, some of you are going to be getting an invitation from Miss Morris if you're in seahorses, or from me if you're a starfish. And it will be an invitation to come onto Microsoft Teams and have a meeting with us. So we'll be able to have a chat. Unfortunately, not in real life, it'll be on the computer, but we'll still be able to see each other and we'll be able to have a chat and it will just be amazing. I am so excited at the thought of being able to see some of your faces and have a chat with some of you, because I just have been missing you so much. I can't even begin to tell you how much I am missing you. We're going to start with the children who are at home and who haven't been into school or seen any of the school grown-ups. So we're going to start with those children first, and then I hope that I'll be able to have a chat with those children who are in school as well, because I just need to see you all. All right, so grown-ups, keep your eyes peeled. You'll be getting some information in an email in the next few days about how that's going to work. Have a brilliant week, everybody. Take care, stay safe, and I will look forward to being in touch with you soon.